Hey everybody, so the next one we're going to take a look at here is what Lonergan would call a double hit. He's really just talking about making a second hit after the initial first one. And that's what we're going to do here is we're going to hit shallow first to the arm and then go deep to the head. And you can really use any target for this. You can mix it up. You can go deep first and then go to the arm on the retreat. We're just showing a basic version of it. So here what you're going to see is me as the coach is I present my arm in order for him to hit. So against advanced fencers, what you're going to do is present, and Cody here is an intermediate fencer, so it's something in between, but I present my arm with a little bit of a step into distance, but you see I don't expose it too much, so he still has to go around my hilt somewhat. So what he's doing there is you can see his right hand is actually turned a little bit towards the inside, so you can, it's not going like straight out with like a cut number 2. It's kind of wrapping around it so he can tap my wrist, and like that he's going to actually land flush while my attack does nothing. And then after that he immediately bounces off the arm, so strike to the arm, and immediately follows up to the opening in the head. So this time I'm not parrying, I'm just allowing him to go direct with the second attack. And I do the same thing on the outside, so I'm alternating inside and outside. The more beginner of a student you have, the bigger you're going to make the opening for them to hit. The more advanced, the smaller. And you're also, like with Cody being an intermediate level fencer, he's kind of hitting it a little bit after I've presented it. Against advanced people, what you're going to see is, if I were doing this with my other student, Wyatt, would be a small shift of the point, and he would read that cue very early and would hit me really quick as soon as I started the cue. So those are the things to look with for different skill levels, is you don't want to put advanced expectations on a beginner. You want to make it as obvious to them as possible. So, and against somebody who's an advanced, beginner expectations aren't what is expected. They're expected to be able to hit it very early with a very slight cue. There, so now I've adjusted the distance so that he has to take a step with the second one. So I'm only going just into range for him to tap my arm, and then he has to take a short lunge. And of course, you can do this on all sorts of distances. Now he's having to take a small step with the first, and then a larger lunge with the second. Then you want to make sure that you land there. I tricked him, but you want to make sure that the student is landing the foot at the same time as the cut lands, so that they're coordinated together, and that usually means taking off early with the arm and then following with the foot. So here I just threw in something, a disengage for the first one, or a parry rather. So he hits my arm initially, I follow him with a late parry, and now to get around that he has to do a disengage. Good. So that really just gets him to return back into a proper guard position after he hits my arm. I tricked him though. So the key is to alternate between both. So sometimes I'll do the parry and sometimes I won't. That keeps him reacting to what's actually happening rather than just getting into a sequence of a rhythm where he's going to just mechanically do it out and put these out. The key with fencing here is we want it to be open-eyed, so he has no clue what the heck is going to happen, and he has to pay attention to what I'm doing. And that's how you really simulate a bout, because as soon as you get people just pumping out reps, it becomes no longer due to an external stimulus. So like the conditions can be anything, and that's kind of what you see in mainstream HEMA fencing these days, is mostly like people, closed eyes, just trying to force techniques. What we want is a clean reaction to what the heck is actually going on.
For sure.
So there you have it.